The residents of Amami Oshima Island, I'm sure, never expected that their simple plan to deal with poisonous snakes would turn into a real ecological drama. What could drive an entire community off course and make them take radical measures against the small mongooses they themselves once brought here? Yes, the little furry heroes had to be banished. And this isn't just a story about ecology, it's a true mix of human mistakes and the unpredictability of nature. Today in this video, you'll learn shocking details and all the hidden lessons of this ambitious yet controversial project. Get ready for a journey through the maze of human decisions and the spectacular natural drama. This is a story that will give you goosebumps. In 1979, the Japanese brought about 30 small Indian mongooses to Amami Oshima Island, which is part of the Ryukyu archipelago. The purpose of this initiative was to combat the population of Habu venomous snakes from the viper family. However, in 2024, Japan's Ministry of the Environment announced the completion of the program to eradicate the introduced mongoose species on this island. Why did attitudes toward these animals change? It turned out that the mongooses switched to easier prey, such as mammals, birds, non-venomous snakes, and amphibians of Amami Oshima, including species unique to this area. For example, due to the activity of mongooses, the number of Amami rabbits which are found only on the islands of Amami Oshima and Tokunoshima decorated jays, as well as the sharp-nosed and odorous frogs, has significantly decreased. The presence of mongooses has affected not only the population numbers, but also the behavior of the native inhabitants of Amami Oshima. Herpetologists have noticed that local frogs became much more cautious after the arrival of mongooses, even when there were hardly any predators left. Frogs living near mongoose habitats showed more anxiety than those that were farther away from them. By the beginning of the 21st century, the number of mongooses had reached about 10,000 individuals. Such a high density of introduced predators posed a serious threat to the survival of local animals. To protect the ecosystem, the Japanese government launched a project to eradicate mongooses using traps. Specially trained dogs were also used to search for these predators. As a result, about 32,000 individuals were captured. The eradication of the mongooses was successful. The last representative of this species was recorded on Amami Oshima in April 2018. Automatic cameras installed on the island no longer register the presence of these animals. A little over 6 years later, on the 3rd of September 2024, the Ministry of Ecology announced that Amami Oshima Island was completely cleared of mongooses. Officials reported that the installation of traps would be discontinued, but the automatic cameras would remain in place to monitor any possible return of the predator. The specialists who were involved in the eradication of mongooses will be sent to northern Okinawa, where these animals are still present in large numbers. So who and why still considers mongooses to be the best defenders against snakes? Small mongooses are considered to be among the most dangerous species introduced outside their natural habitat in the world. Their natural range includes South and Southeast Asia. However, from the 19th to the 20th century, people introduced them to South America Caribbean islands, Hawaii, Fiji, the Mascarene Archipelago, some Japanese islands, and off the coast of Croatia. The purpose and consequences were the same as later on Amami Oshima. Why are mongooses considered the best snake hunters? The animal's body is covered with thick, coarse fur, which stands on end when it is excited or agitated. This makes it difficult for snakes to deliver a bite, since most bites end up landing on the fur. Even if the snake does manage to bite the mongoose during the fight, the mongoose easily copes with the consequences thanks to its internal defensive resistance to snake venom. This resistance is due to the biological characteristics of the mongoose's body. Snake venom causes paralysis of the muscles and nervous system by blocking the transmission of electrical impulses between cells. As a result, the victim loses control over their heart or breathing, which leads to death. In mongooses, the proteins in their cells responsible for interacting with these impulses have a different composition, so venom molecules cannot attach to them. Based on the unique features of mongoose cell receptors, scientists have developed anti-venom drugs for humans. For example, research by Israeli scientists made it possible to create a drug that has helped save the lives of about 40,000 people. Despite this protection, large doses of venom still remain dangerous for the mongoose. Nevertheless, it is not easy for snakes to bite a mongoose because of its remarkable agility and endurance. The mongoose fights until the snake is exhausted and becomes vulnerable to attack. Sometimes the snake tries to retreat, realizing the futility of its attempts, but the mongoose finishes the fight with a lightning-fast attack. Usually, the animal first grabs the snake by the lower jaw, depriving it of the ability to use its venomous fangs. Then it scratches the snake with its claws and, in the end, bites through its neck. Only in rare cases, especially if the mongoose is young and inexperienced, can the snake prevail. The Amami Islands are famous for their unique nature and diverse fauna and flora, which is why they are often called the Galapagos of the Far East. Amami Oshima Island is located about 186 miles south of Kyushu and at a similar distance north of Okinawa. It is part of Kagoshima Prefecture. This area is known for its coral reefs, bright blue sea, mangrove forests, and pristine tropics away from the coastline. In 2017, Amami Oshima, along with the surrounding islands and waters, was designated a national park called Amami Gunto. Millions of years ago, the Amami Islands were part of the Eurasian plate, periodically drifting away and returning, which contributed to the formation of unique natural conditions. The islands are home to rare endemic species, such as the Amami rabbit, which is protected by the state, the sharp-nosed fragrant frog, and the Ryukyu jay. In addition, there is an abundance of poisonous snakes here, which pose a problem for the local population. The Habu is a type of pit viper belonging to the viper family. This snake is one of the largest of its kind, with an average length of 4 to 5 feet, although specimens as long as 7 feet 8 inches have been found. The snake has a large head and a slender body covered with small scales. The primary coloration ranges from brown to olive green, with dark green or dark brown spots on the back. The edges of the spots are usually yellow, and sometimes the spots themselves are yellow. The spots often merge, forming a wavy pattern along the spine. The snake's belly is white with dark edges. Habu snakes are known for their aggression if disturbed, which leads to frequent cases of bites. Such incidents most often occur at night, as the reptile is primarily active during this time. Habu often enter human dwellings in search of prey such as mice or rats. Like other vipers, the Habu has heat-sensitive pits on its head that allow it to sense the thermal radiation of potential prey. Upon detecting prey, the snake attacks instantly. The Habu has a long tongue, which it uses for spatial orientation. After a bite, the venom quickly incapacitates the victim, allowing the snake to swallow it safely. The snake's venom is highly toxic, containing hemorrhagic substances and cytotoxins. A bite causes nausea, vomiting, and a drop in blood pressure. Even with medical intervention, 6 to 8% of victims are left disabled, losing mobility in their limbs due to the effects of the venom. Unlike most vipers, the Habu lays eggs instead of giving birth to live young. Reproduction takes place in the spring, and in the summer, the female lays up to 18 eggs. After 5 to 6 weeks, hatchlings about 10 inches long emerge, already equipped with a full set of venom glands. The average lifespan of a Habu in the wild is between 7 and 10 years, although some individuals live up to 15 years. The habitat range of the Habu is limited to several islands of the Ryukyu archipelago in Japan, such as Okinawa, Amami, Amakarima, Kerama-Reto, and Okinawa-jima. These snakes prefer to live in transitional zones between agricultural lands and palm groves. Their diet mainly consists of small mammals, birds, frogs, and other reptiles. Since the 1970s, the population of this snake species has been declining due to excessive hunting for the production of Habushu snake wine. However, the total population size remains unknown. According to the IUCN Red List, the Habu is classified as a species of least concern. This status was assigned in 2016. The Amami rabbit, which inhabits Tokunoshima and Amami Oshima Islands in the southern part of the Ryukyu archipelago, is of particular value because it is found exclusively in these regions. The main part of the Amami rabbit population, ranging from 2 to 5,000 individuals, is concentrated on Amami Oshima Island, while on the neighboring Tokunoshima there are no more than 300 left. The rabbits need access to 2 different types of forest ecosystems, as they feed in different forests at different times of the year. Such a combination of ecosystems has survived only in the southern part of Amami Oshima Island today. There, rabbits are often seen in oak groves, as acorns are an important part of their diet. Unlike the familiar white and gray hares, the Japanese Amami rabbit has fur of a dark brown or even black shade. Its fur is quite dense and thick, despite the region's subtropical climate.
This species has shorter ears than ordinary hares.
Its legs are short, with wide pads and long gripping claws which allow it to climb curved tree trunks. Hares hide in burrows, spending a significant part of the day there, and are active during the nighttime. They reproduce twice a year, but their litters are small, only 1 or 2 offspring, which makes it difficult for this rare species to recover its population. The main threat to the climbing hares is not so much deforestation on the island, but rather predation by artificially introduced species that were previously unknown on the islands. Dogs, cats, and mongooses brought by humans have become feral and now hunt the hares. In areas where a significant portion of the broadleaf forest has been destroyed, the hares have moved to grassy mountain slopes, where they are more vulnerable to predators. These factors have led to a decline in the population of climbing hares. Despite the conservation measures taken, the population of this species remains low. The decorated jay is a striking bird from the crow family, distinguished by its unusual coloring. Its head is violet-black, its back and wings are covered with violet-blue feathers, and the rest of its body is colored in a chestnut-violet shade. These birds gather in small groups and inhabit the forests of the Japanese islands Amami, Shima, and Tokunoshima. Decorated jays have the ability to mimic various sounds, which makes them fascinating subjects for observation. Their body length is about 1.5 feet, and their weight rarely exceeds half a pound. The bird has a short, sharp beak and long legs with gripping claws. Jays are diurnal, but it is not easy to observe them in their natural habitat. These cautious birds are timid and try to hide at the first sign of danger. They warn their fellow birds of possible threats with loud calls. The diet of the decorated jay is mainly plant-based. It feeds on nuts, acorns, raspberries, and rowan berries. In search of grains, the birds often head to fields sown with wheat, rye, barley, sunflower, or oats. In spring and autumn, when food supplies dwindle, jays switch to an animal-based diet that includes insects such as may beetles, rose chafers, and silkworm caterpillars. Insects play an important role in the diet of nestlings. If food is scarce, the jay may display predatory tendencies and hunt mice, lizards, frogs, or small birds. Unlike other jays, the decorated jay builds its nest in tree hollows. Usually the clutch contains 3 to 4 eggs. Unfortunately, the species is also endangered. The sharp-nosed fragrant frog is characterized by a moderately slender body and a triangular head that extends forward and is slightly pointed upward. The frog's snout protrudes beyond the lower jaw, and its nostrils are located closer to the tip of the snout than to the eyes. Its forelimbs are thickened. The fingers lack webbing, but have expanded tips that resemble small discs with ring-shaped grooves. The hind limbs are noticeably elongated, approximately 3 times longer than the forelimbs. When the limbs are bent at a right angle to the body, the heels touch each other. The knee joint of the extended limb reaches beyond the tip of the snout. The toes on the hind limbs are well developed, with webbing but without noticeable ridges. The discs on the toes are as wide as those on the 2 outer fingers. The body length from the tip of the nose to the tail ranges from 2.2 to 2.7 inches in males and from 3 to 4 inches in females. The frog's back is colored in shades ranging from light brownish to greenish, and in some individuals, dark spots on the back are absent. The sacral area is covered with small bumps. The sides of the body are rough, while the chest area and belly are smooth. A faint line runs along the sides, consisting of short ridges. This species is found on 2 islands, Amami Oshima and Tokunoshima, preferring to inhabit areas along mountain streams in forested regions. Frogs can also be found on mountain trails, although they rarely descend to lower elevations. The reproduction of the sharp-nosed fragrant frog is similar to that of other species, except for the timing of the start of the breeding season. Some populations begin breeding as early as October, while others start in May. In a single clutch, the female lays about 1,500 eggs, which are yellowish or white in color. Tadpoles from Tokunoshima Island appear more slender and less pigmented. Male sharp-nosed fragrant frogs have a pair of vocal sacs and 2 vocal openings at the corners of their mouths. The mating call consists of 2 notes, a short one followed by a long one. According to the IUCN Red List, the sharp-nosed fragrant frog is classified as endangered. Despite the presence of other threats to the extinction of rare animals, the Japanese experience with mongooses is not the only case where similar experiments have been conducted in other parts of the world. However, even there, the results of these experiments have often been ambiguous. Friends, I want to make you an interesting offer. You have a unique opportunity to become part of our team. If you have video editing skills, can do voiceovers in Russian, English, or other languages, or write interesting scripts, we would be happy to work with you. Contact our Telegram bot. That's all for today. Goodbye, everyone!